Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Coffee and Football, presented by Adam Lowy and the Lowy Law Firm. I'm your host, Blake Monroe, where I'm joined each and every day by Bobby Burton and Jerry Hamilton, who's back in action, got his sunglasses on.
Women still ranked number one. I could be wearing these shades a while, man. We'll see. And here's the thing, though. If they win the national championship, do I have to wear them all the way until the start of next season? Because they're going to be number one.
Women's softball might have something to say about that too.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true. Well, hey, speaking of all these sports, there was a lot of wins on the 40 acres last night, guys. We're going to start here with baseball. Texas jumped to an early lead. And then in the fourth inning, he kind of had a pitching meltdown as A&M Corpus Christi scored 5 runs on just 2 hits, by the way. Yeah.
By the way, you leave the island, you go to Austin, you get wrecked, and you go back to a cool island. That school's actually on an island, by the way. Hey, I know there's some A&M fans in the chat that are sick of Texags. We got something for you. I just don't have the read right now, but A&M baseball fans, this may come in handy this season, I hear.
They lost another one last night.
They did indeed. They've lost 5 now. 5 of their last 6, guys. They have lost. Oklahoma also upset last night. They had been on a really good streak. I think they were ranked number 13, if I recall, 13 or 14. They lost to Dallas Baptist. So both of Texas rivals lose in baseball. Texas gets the win 15-5 in 8 innings. Jerry's got his joy mode for everybody.
For every A&M baseball fan, baby. It's not, man. This could be a massive meltdown. Like, if they don't have a good season, like massive with a fan base meltdown.
They get a chance to restart their season when conference play rolls around. But Blake, you're a baseball guy. What is their meltdown about? Is it pitching? Is it something else? What is it?
Yeah, a little bit of everything, guys. I mean, honestly, people are just they were number one to start the season, and obviously their fan base is expecting wins. I mean, they arguably got the best roster out there in college baseball. It's hard to argue with that. And when you drop 5 of your last 6 to a bunch of no names, I mean, their only win in those 6 games is a pretty terrible Rice team right now. So they're just not happy as a whole. The hitting, the offense especially, has just been.
They lost their best player to a shoulder injury, right? They lost their best player for the season already.
Well, I would say second or third best player. They still have Jace, who's probably going to be the number 1 pick in the MLB draft this upcoming year. I mean, they're just not happy at all, and they do think they play Texas Southern tonight. Tomorrow night, excuse me. So they should get that win before losing some more this weekend. We'll have to see what happens.
Schlossnagel's got the guys going in the right direction, and at Dish Falk, that's for sure. What has he won, 10 or 11 now?
Yes.
Out of the last 10 or 11. He's doing a pretty good job. Basketball was on the road last night, Jerry and Blake. They held off Mississippi State in overtime, despite not being able to inbound the ball with 10 seconds to go.
Well, they're just getting ready for the NCAA tournament if they get in. All right. So I thought I didn't think I was going to have to bring this out again in basketball season, but nice to see that one handyman made the trip to Starkville.
Look at that. 87-82 overtime win. Tremont Mark had a really good game last night. His absence or back and forth into the lineup, Jerry, has been one of the stories of this season. When he plays and is seemingly healthy, the Longhorns are a much better basketball team. They went on the road and beat a ranked Mississippi State team. Does this make 5 quad 1 wins now for the Longhorns? And
I think it does, yeah.
Look, they're trying to, if they win, and we got to say this now, Adam Lowy, our friend at the Lowy Law Firm, is going to give away 2 tickets to the OU basketball game for Saturday night. We'll have a trivia question later. But Texas wins that. They're 18-13. Got to go win a couple games in the NCAA or in the SEC tournament, maybe to get into the NCAA tournament at this point.
Yeah, so if they beat Oklahoma, they get to 7-11 in conference play now. Somebody can check the math. I don't believe a team that's been under 4 games in a conference has ever made the NCAA tournament as a at-large bid. Could this be different this year because of the SEC strength of a real great conference? I mean, legitimately great conference. Now, or could they get into a play-in game at a 7-11? I've always thought they could. It just hasn't happened before. So I thought a SEC team at 7-11 could get into a NCAA tournament play-in game. Or do they need to go win at least one in the SEC tournament? If they go out in the first round of the SEC tournament, I don't think they won't get in. Because what will happen is either Arkansas or Texas, one of those teams that finishes at 7-11, whoever wins that first round SEC tournament game probably gets in if it's out of those two teams.
All right. Before we move on, excuse me, Bobby, I'm going to let you tell everyone out there about Adam Lowy and the Lowy Law Firm.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you to Adam and his firm for sponsoring On Texas Football's Wednesday morning coffee and football. If you've been injured in a truck wreck, automobile accident of any kind, be it an 18-wheeler, ATV, or just a simple fender bender, but you've been injured and think you might be due compensation, make sure you reach out to Adam and his group. They've been helping injured Texans for more than 20 years. That's LowyLawFirm.com. Thank you to Adam and his group. A little later in the show, we'll have two free tickets giveaway, courtesy of Adam and the Lowy Law Firm, to the person who answers the trivia question first by sending an email to ontexasfootball@gmail.com. We'll get to that right away when we get a chance.
I got to bring up something. I'm worried about one of our favorite guys on the show, Jeff Carey. I think we can make it to the Final Four. Did you fall and hit your head? Are you okay?
In the NIT?
I love the positivity.
Yeah, in the NIT, he didn't specify what tournament.
I know, he got me. I just walked right into that, didn't I? God dang it, I'm too experienced to walk into that. Good job, Jeff Carey. You got me.
Well, speaking of basketball, we do have a couple of questions here, like this one from Donald Britt. He says, Bastrop here, Dr. Pepper this morning. Do we get Weaver back before the NCAA tournament? Or how about we'll just say before any tournament?
Well, he's already a week and a half later not hitting the court than originally expected. That he was supposed to originally be back last week. But there's obviously, I don't know the extent of the setback or the healing process, but Jeff Carey said NIT. I knew he had something up his sleeve. I don't have the answer because it's already been longer than expected. I mean, that's the reality. By the way, I want to hit on something real quick before we move on to football recruiting and football, because we do have the boys state championships in Texas UIL this weekend. And it'll be the final game for one of the top two sports stars, small school stars this state's ever seen. And I want to give Grayson Rigdon a little love right now. You know, Columbus, he moved from 6-man to Columbus, and Blake knows him well from 6-man in that area, where he was multiple state championship winner in football and basketball. He moves to Columbus. His father's a coach. Good hire by Columbus. He moves to Columbus. They win state in football. He's now got them on the verge of winning state in basketball. They've only played 19 games this year because their entire team was on the football field. But he had a 56-point game in the second or third round of the playoffs, and then he had 43 in the state semis last night. One of the all-time great small school two-sport stars this state's ever seen. I mean, he is he has unbelievable sports intelligence is what he's got. You know, he just has the ability to go out and make plays on a football field. You could put him in any position. He's going to make plays and score touchdowns. Basketball court, same thing. But congrats to him. I mean, if he pulled that off and they won state in basketball at Columbus too, that would be one hell of a feat for Columbus to win football and basketball, because they weren't picked to win either at the end of the year.
Grayson Rigdon, he's headed to Arizona State. Is that accurate?
Yes, he's headed to Arizona State to play running back. Probably get a chance to be on that basketball team as well. And he's not a high major basketball talent per se, but I think they're going to give him a chance to be on that team if he wants to be.
He was originally, correct me if I'm wrong, he's originally committed to Wyoming for basketball.
Football and basketball both.
Basketball. He's committed for
but
both.
I think his position coach left, so he didn't sign with Wyoming. And then Arizona State came in January, and I think smartly made an offer to him. I think that was a strong offer by those guys. The guy's just he's just got sports intelligence out the yin yang, bottom line.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see how he does there for sure.
I assume he played defense in high school as well as offense.
I think from what I hear, yeah. From what I hear, Arizona State does plan to play him at running back initially and see where it goes.
Okay. Congrats to him, and good luck to Columbus and everybody.
And obviously state championships, Kyle Voshka, I think Geyer's going to win state title. I'll be shocked if they don't, but obviously they still have to go win. San Antonio, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, state championship in boys basketball. There's going to be some hellacious games like that 5A D2 game, Mansfield Summit and Fort Bend Marshall is going to be a whale of a game. Bel Air upset San Antonio Brennan with Kingston Flemings last night. Shelton Henderson, a Duke signee, is now that he's healthy, has been a different current Duke signee. Watch out when Jay Lucas is announced for Miami. If Shelton Henderson sticks with Duke, there's a little scoop for you. But he's been a man amongst boys in the playoffs. So there's going to be some great games in San Antonio for the state championship this weekend.
And while we're on basketball, I got one super chat here from Stark After Dark. Thank you for the super chat. It says, could CDC hire another Mississippi State basketball coach?
I don't think so. But he's a good coach. Jans is good. He's done well.
All right, let's switch it up here and switch gears over to recruiting. Jerry, I know you got some news there. So what's the latest?
Yeah, we've talked about a lot of guys on this show, but one guy that I didn't think we'd given enough love to is out of and this he may have the highest SAT in the class. I'm not saying anything about the other guys, but this is Luke Waffle, edge prospect from the Hun School in Princeton. I mean, you don't just walk into the Hun School and go to school there, guys. This kid's got an SAT on him. This is 6'5.5", 245. He's been on campus twice. He grew up. Texas was one of his teams growing up. He was on campus twice last spring. I'm here to tell you right now, guys. I haven't put it on the board, but I'm here on June 20th for an official visit for Luke Waffle. We'll see if if he announces that official visit date. That's from a connection up in New Jersey. So Luke Waffle, a guy that really likes Texas. Texas really likes him. Looking like June 20th for his official visit to the University of Texas, and a guy that I could see Texas being right there on in the end. High motor guy, understands leverage, really strong kid, understands how to use his hands. Really good player. One of the top 100 prospects in the country, Bobby, in this class.
Interesting. The Hun School in Princeton, New Jersey. There have been some good players come through there.
Yeah.
Myron Roll back in the day was from there. The former Florida State defensive back, played a little bit in the league. The idea here that I'm just noticing a trend, and they're having no problem right now, Jerry, no problem finding interest from players around the country. And I'm talking about Texas and their staff. I wrote a little bit about what they're doing in the state of North Carolina today on TexasFootball.com. And they're going hard after that state. It's not just going to be Florida and Georgia. They're going to go hard in North Carolina too, because look, Brandon Harris and Chad Scott both went to school at UNC. And North Carolina is a state that is interesting in football because they have high per capita NFL talent.
Yes.
First of all. So there's a lot. They're top 10 NFL talent producing state, but they have no home state school that is football first.
Yeah.
And Matt Brown will tell you that. I mean, North Carolina's a basketball school.
And we've talked about
isn't the number one school in that state. Duke is basketball. And look, Jalen Walker and Jordan Davis went to Georgia from the state of North Carolina. Clemson, South Carolina, Tennessee, Florida have all recruited the state of North Carolina for years and made hay there. I think Texas sees that as the next state really ripe for expansion, maybe more so than Alabama, even though they're going to bring in at least 3 or 4 guys in from the state of Alabama. I'd watch out for North Carolina this year. I think that's going to be maybe the bigger surprise as we watch Luke Waffle another guy up the Atlantic coast in Princeton, New Jersey here.
And we will come back in a few minutes and watch the new offer out of North Carolina. But this show started with great energy, and I think we got to take it down a couple of notches right now. We started off with such great energy. Now we're going to bring in low energy and have to deal with it.
Good morning, Tony. How are you this morning?
Hello, gentlemen.
How you doing, Tony?
I was going to match Jerry's words, but I changed my mind. What's happening, OTF? Is up right now. My wife right now is probably like, keep it down. But let me tell you something. We're on Texas football. Ain't no keeping it down. We going to turn it all the way up. What's going on, man? How y'all doing?
Good, Tony. I got to ask you, you saw the combine and the results of what they put out there. Longhorns got some speed on the field, and they proved it at the combine. What do you think? What did you think of all that you saw this past weekend?
Oh, man, phenomenal, man. You talk about Blue. We all knew Blue was fast. We saw that coming, right? I think the thing that was surprising was the Isaiah Bond and Matthew Golden situation, right? I didn't know that Golden possessed that type of speed. We knew he was fast, but when you look at the tape, Isaiah Bond, man, was extremely elusive, especially on long passes, deep balls, things of that nature. We know Golden had that in him as well, his ability to high track the ball. But from a speed perspective, I thought Bond was a little faster than Golden. But at least on that day, that did not seem to be the case. Look, Sark's done an amazing job understanding the formula when it comes to position players. And so speed is something that he's preached since he's got to Texas, and now we're just seeing it translate in the combine. So from Xavier Worthy to Matthew Golden to Blue, right, even to Bijan, right? All these guys are speed guys. That's his MO, and it was great to see. And even watching Kelvin do his thing with that 1-8-10 split is really, really good in the NFL, man. So it was good to see. It was good to see us back on the map. Let me ask you guys a question real quick. Y'all always asking me questions. How does it feel to have Texas back on the map in the draft from the draft?
Yeah. Well, it's not even us that I'm concerned about. It's the recruits. I think that's where it makes everybody smile because Jerry talks about it all the time. What does a young guy want when he's going out of high school? He wants to go to the NFL most likely, right? That's the dream of most high school football players. It's not just to play college football, it's to go on and play even further. And Texas right now is providing that opportunity as well as any team in the country. And that includes Alabama, Georgia, Florida, Notre Dame, Ohio State, etc. Anybody, anywhere, Texas the last 2 years has put out as many players as possible. So for me, Tony, it's not so much about how I feel. I think it's that trickle-down effect of turning on NFL Network on Saturday and basically having a University of Texas infomercial for 3 hours.
Well, God dang it.
Hey, Tony, the thing with me, it would be one thing if Texas was producing at a couple of positions. We're now seeing every position.
Yes.
That is the thing for me is literally we're going to bring up a mock draft later in the show, but Alfred Collins is getting a first-round mock draft right now by one company, or by Fox, I think it is. You're across, it runs the gamut of all positions, Tony. That's when a program is really healthy. Obviously, when you win at the level Texas does, you got good players everywhere. But, 4 offensive linemen in the combine, 2 defensive linemen, edge prospects in the combine, DBs, wide receiver. Running back, quarterback. Tight end. What am I missing here?
Yeah,
I guess linebacker in this group as far as not getting invited to the combine, but it's pretty amazing that all positions are being drafted out of the University of Texas right now.
I couldn't agree more. And the reason why I asked you guys that is because that was my sentiments exactly, man. What we're seeing is we're seeing the emergence of Sark as it pertains to development, right? And so what was done in the shadows is now being able to be seen in the light. And what I mean by that is the preparation of these guys, man, the development stage. And to your point, Bobby, I think that's why I was reading a report about a scout, about the kid from Melissa, the big offensive tackle. And that was one of the things that he pointed out was the development. I've seen what he's done. I know Gooseby, because I played with him and I've seen the development just in the small amount of time that he's been there, and I want to come get developed like that. And I think that's the thing that people need to take away about what's happening at Texas. It's not just the wins, it's not just the guys getting drafted, it's the actual development of the athlete, because for years that was one of the things that was being said about Texas. It's big, strong guys, fast, physical, but they lack, some of them lack development, and we're seeing that now. So I definitely wanted to harp on that. What you got for me, though? People want to hear about what we got going on.
Well, I think I want to circle back real quick, ask you about this, or talk about this, because you're mentioning not only Trevor Gooseby, who was from Melissa, but you're talking about the young lineman that just committed, Max Wright from Melissa, wanting to follow in those footsteps because he's seen what it can do firsthand. And that's exactly the whole idea behind it, right? Create pipelines where, you can really get going. All right, Jerry, you have a player you want Tony Hills to look at today. Is that correct?
We're moving to defensive line, and I do one to Tony that I think could be a great player. So we're gonna wind Tony up and turn him loose on Jamian Winfield out of Richardson, who I believe will end up being a 5-star prospect in this class. So Tony took a look at the top defensive lineman on the board for Texas in 2026. What were your takeaways?
Man, first of all, his size, dude. 6'4", 290-pound monster. This guy's first step is explosive. He has the first step of a defensive end, right? Hand placement, right? Strength right there. This guy is one word for this dude, disruptor, right? Another word, mayhem, because that's exactly what he's causing. I can tell you right now that the mayhem guy is going to have to be looking for a new job if they decide to hire this dude. Spin move right there. As you can see, one of the things that you see is he's very polished in his pass rush, and he's strong at the point of attack. The thing that I like seeing with defensive linemen is how well do they do when they take on double teams. Because a lot of times and I know at this level it's a little different as it pertains to the experience that a lot of these high school linemen have with it. But I want to see, can they fight through that double team and make plays? Boom, right on cue. That's what he does, right? Each and every time. One of the things that I think that he can get better at is his hand placement, right? I think right now it's a great move. I'm getting distracted by his pass rush. I think right now in his development, his hand placement, understanding how to get his hands and shoot his hands inside, because here's what happens. This works on this level, but when you start getting to the next level, now it's about being more technically sound. So he has to get more technically sound, but I like the explosiveness off of this kid. Another word that I would use for him is his tenacity. There's going to be a play here where he's on the backside of the defensive line and he chases down a receiver all the way to the other boundary. He just loves the game. You can tell that he plays that way, and he's playing for something other than the name on his back. I can tell you that much, because his effort and the way that he just drives to the football is phenomenal. Right here, fighting through double teams to get to the block. You're going to see this consistently. And the thing about that type of effort, guys, is that has nothing to do with talent. That has everything to do with want to. And that's the way that this guy plays the game. So I'm excited to see what he does going into his last year. And hopefully Texas can do what they need to do to get him, because he's a good one.
Jerry, give us a little recruiting update, the latest on Jamian Winfield as we watch him before we get ready to see the next guy, if you don't mind.
Yeah, he was on campus January 20th for Junior Day with his mom. They're originally from Mississippi, moved in July to Richardson, Texas. He goes to Richardson High, obviously. He hasn't released it yet, but I'm looking at June 20th for his official visit. I talked to him a couple of nights ago, and he said it's going to be June 20th. He just hadn't released his dates yet, but we're liking Jamian Winfield for June 20th. Texas A&M, big competition. Ole Miss, big competition. Everybody in the country is coming after this kid now. They've seen him. So Georgia, you name it, Oregon, they're all coming after him. I'll be very surprised if he doesn't play in the SEC at the end of the day. That would shock me. And I think Texas will give it their absolute all to win this recruitment.
And he's originally from Meridian, Mississippi.
Meridian,
correct?
Mississippi. He is Meridian. Yep.
That's right on the Alabama state line, just about 30 minutes away.
Yeah. Hey, did you have a chance to look at Kenye Pepe, Tony?
Did I have a chance to look at an offensive line?
I love it.
Ask me that, Jerry. Let's talk about Kenye.
This is the last offensive lineman we're going to have you evaluate, so I'll let you go.
All right. Well, look, man, if that's how we're going out, then we're going to go out with my notes in my hand. All right. So this is what I got on this guy. First of all, I know he's a hooper. How can I tell? He's 6'7", 295 pounds, and his feet are extremely athletic. So I know he plays basketball. But his frame is elite. Athleticism and mobility is crazy. In pass protection, the dude he has natural ability, guys. I mean, he's just a natural pass pro type of guy. He has a lot of strength. You can see that in a lot of times when he's finishing his blocks. He's a physical presence. The thing that I will say, when you're dealing with guys that are long and tall like that, is in the pass pro, the negative that you'll see from time to time is as they start to get tired, their technique starts to dwindle, and now they start to lean and lunge, right? How do I know? Because that was a problem for me when I was in college. So I understand it, right? Leverage and pad level is going to be a thing with him because he's so tall. And then also on the run blocking, he has to be a little bit more consistent, right? And this is just what you get when you get these taller, athletic guys. But flexibility work, getting in the weight room, being able to understand how to get his eyes right and driving getting his pass underneath people. And then quiet as kept. I mean, he's playing guys as 6'1", 6'2". He's going to see guys that are 6'4", 6'5", 6'6" when he gets to the next level. But this guy is a natural left tackle. You can see with his feet movement, his fluidity, his knee bend. That was the one thing that I thought that was really, really impressive. Sometimes when you see these guys that are tall like this, tight hamstrings, flexibility is not really there. More specifically, the ankle flexibility is not really there. You don't see that with this guy, and I think a lot of that is attributed to that bounce that you have to have when you're playing basketball. Like you're always light on your feet and you're always moving. He has stick and stay on the run block. And here's the thing that I love about him. He's not afraid to put his face in the fan, right? He's going to put his face mask on somebody. And that's what you look for. You want to see that type of that tenacity, that will to win, that drive, that love for getting guys off the line. I mean, look at him right there, man. Look, that guy's 12 yards down the field, right? And he's still going. Like his block has nothing to do with the play. That's just all. I don't like you on the field with me, and it's disrespectful that you showed up. So this guy's one of those ones, man. That's what I'll end it with. He's one of those ones. Definitely gonna need some development in the run game. But man, I can see why all the coaches want this kid.
Hey, by the way, pretty ballsy of him to play without knee braces. By the way, he's at IMG. He's playing a national schedule. That's pretty ballsy to play without knee braces these days. Every kid wears knee braces. So recruiting on him, I think he'll be the last offensive lineman to schedule official visit to Texas. Tony's broke. He is already on film and past hump days with Hills. If you go back on Wednesday shows, he's broke down every top offensive line target for Texas. I expect Pepe to make an official visit to June. I don't think that date's been set quite yet, but that will be 10 offensive linemen that Kyle Flood will bring in June for 5 or 6 spots.
Hey, Jerry, quickly, he's from IMG, which we all know is a prep school of sorts. Where is he originally from, if that makes sense?
That's a good question. He moved around. I need to see where he originally is from. Okay. I don't know where he grew up as a youth, where his family's from. I need to look that up.
Okay, good deal. Who are any major competition in that one? As of
all your SECs. So Pepe, I think he was born in LA, is where he was born.
Okay.
So all your Oregons, your USCs, your big powers in the SEC. Obviously, the Florida schools are going to try to get him to stay, but he's not from Florida. He's a typical IMG kid that moved over there for his last couple of years of high school. But it's one where he's originally from the West Coast. He was born in SoCal, or he grew up in SoCal. I'm not sure if he was born in SoCal or not, but he has all national powers. I know Oregon's trying to fight it out for him, USC. And all your power Florida schools and SEC schools. But he's been on I think he's been on campus once before, and then Kyle Flood was through there in January. Same day he went to see Sam Roseborough at Clearwater. He went down to IMG to see Brett Colajay and Kenye Pepe.
Hey, Tony, real quick. This Eric Bird has a question for you. What were your measurements back in the day? We saw these combine stuff go on over the weekend. What were you, height, weight, that sort of stuff going into the combine?
Yeah, they had me at 6'5", and I think it was 6'5"3/4", right? I forget the wingspan. Hands were 33. I want to say
arm,
33.
You mean?
Huh?
Arm, you mean?
No,
Arm.
no. They measured hand size as well.
Okay.
The arm span, I can't remember what that one was. The weight I got up to 310. I got up to 310. Vertical was in the 30s. The 40 time was, I think it was like a 5 flat. I don't remember my split. I mean, Jesus, guys, that was 20-some years ago. It's crazy to say that.
I actually found the official measurements for you. Well, some of them.
Okay, so let me see how great I was on.
It said it was 6'5", 304, 10 1/4 inch hands, 34 1/4 inch arms. That's all they had on NFL.com for your old NFL combine. Let me see.
304. You must have been on a diet that week. He didn't eat candy that week.
Listen, let me tell you right now, I appreciate them putting that in there because I dang sure wasn't 304, but I'll take it.
Hey, Tony, I got a question for you. There's a lot of noise right now around Kelvin Banks. And the noise is that he's a guard, not a tackle. What are your thoughts on? You've played the tackle position in the NFL ranks. Is he a guard or is he a tackle? What are your thoughts?
No, I think that he is a pure tackle, to be honest. What happens is, guys, you have to look at it like think of the NFL as corporate, right? And a lot of different the teams are different, businesses. Every business has their way of doing business. So there's measurables that they track, because a lot of times, if I'm just being completely honest, a lot of times many of these scouts are just lazy, right? Not watching the film because, obviously you have to break down a lot of people. But if you're breaking down the film on Kelvin and you don't see the tackle ability, the Pro Bowl tackle ability that this guy possesses, right? We're talking about a guy that is flawless in technique, that has fluidity in hip movement, that has long arms to be able to keep people off of the quarterback, that has showed, and many times, even when his hand placement misses, his feet is able to keep him in a position to keep guys off of the quarterback. That is what you want as a tackle. You place this guy at guard, yeah, he can play the position and he probably will be a good guard, but he's going to be a great tackle. So all of this noise about him being a guard and all of this stuff, I don't think the teams that are looking to draft him are going to see him that way, right? And again, I keep going back to this particular person, but that's because the measurements are similar. But Beacham, this was the same thing. If you go back a few years ago, this was the same thing that they were saying about him, and he went on to have a heck of a career as a tackle for not only Pittsburgh, for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So at this point, Bobby, there's no football being played, so we got to throw stories around for something. That's exactly what I look at it. It's just a bunch of noise that ain't nobody really paying attention to that knows football.
Yeah, I think my take on it is I feel we thought he was a tackle coming out and said as much. Other people said, oh, no, he's a guard. Those same people feel like they're doubling down right now. You know what I mean? It's almost like they're on tilt and it's a poker game, and all they're doing is just keep throwing more chips on the table. Saying, no, he can't do it. He can't do it. He can't do it. I could be wrong. I mean, I've been wrong before, and I understand that, but I don't see Kelvin Banks as a guard. I did see Leonard Davis coming out as a more likely guard than tackle. I mean, just my personal opinion, because he's so big. Kelvin Banks is a tackle to me. Could be wrong. We'll see.
I wanted to add this to that discussion. There's been some guys that have played tackle 12 years in the NFL or going to, that their first year in college, they played guard. Yep. And then they kicked them out the tackle in year 2. And could somebody play Kelvin at guard and kick him out the tackle after that? Yes. I mean, it's not out of the question. But Kelvin Banks is a tackle. And this is, and I'm going to be a broken record because I'm going to keep saying it. Same thing's happening with John Turntine in high school already, Tony. You watched this film. That guy's one of the most athletic guys you'll ever see, with an 81, 82-inch wingspan, even though he's only 6'3" and 5'8". In our business, people are starting to rank the kid lower. He's not even a 5-star. And I'm here to tell you, I've been doing this 20 years. That kid's a 5-star offensive tackle prospect. And these guys are paralysis by analysis is what's going on right now.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Jerry and Bobby. Listen, want to double back. So when you look at Leonard Davis was always going to be a guard. Foot speed. He was a massive man, right, with some athleticism. But when it comes to playing tackle, one of the things that they look at as an offensive lineman is what is your knee flexibility, ankle flexibility, and how is your foot speed? Because if you can't stay in front of these guys that are coming off the edge at 4'4", 4'6", 4'5", right, 270 pounds, if you can't stay in front of these guys, then I don't care how big you are, right? You have to be able to match athleticism with athleticism, which is why Kelvin is going to be playing tackle in the NFL. All of these people that are saying opposite, they'll probably be out of a job pretty soon, because you're not evaluating the kid. You're going off of what everybody else is saying and saying, oh yeah, this guy's going to be a guard in the league. How? I think the thing that gets me is like people throw these things out there, they don't put their name on it, and then you don't even explain why you believe he's going to be a guard, right? Do you say, oh, because he's 6'4"? I got plenty of tackles. You can pull plenty of guys in the league that played at 6'4", right? What is his ability to be able to keep this guy off of this $50 million a year guy? What is his ability to do that? That's what you judge it off of, period. Like all this analytical bull crap that people have. Now I'm on my soapbox, guys. Y'all done awoken the beast. All this analytical bull crap that they have out here. Oh, this guy's measurement or this guy's score. This guy, man, listen, can he play football, bro? At the end of the day, can he keep that guy off my guy? If the answer is yes, can he do it more times than not, right? And that's just the reality of what this game is. That's why the teams that are consistently winning and on all levels keep the game simplistic. You want to come and do all this AI and technology and broad jump this and broad. How many guys performed really well in the combine, got drafted and was trash? How many guys? This is why you have so many guys that play. I would love to get the statistics on this. I would love to see the guys that were drafted in the middle rounds, right? And this is going against Banks. This is just my own personal opinion. The guys that were drafted and overlooked in the draft, 3rd round, 4th round, 5th round, 6th round, 7th round, undrafted free agents. Look at their tenure in the NFL versus the guys that were drafted 1st and 2nd round and were just shoe-ins and locks and had all of these great measurables. I would love to see what the career looks like. I'm probably ventured to say that it's not as long as the ones that were out here getting it and plugging it away and getting after it, right? This is the problems with, you know, the Kuipers of the world and all of these other people, the McShays of the world that go out and say what these particular individuals are going to do. You're not putting in the work, bro. You don't understand that man's heart. You don't understand that man's desire and will to win. And I've seen guys, I'll give you one, Doug Legursky out of West Virginia. Ain't no way in hell, based off of his measurables, he's supposed to be playing in the NFL, yet this dude started as an undrafted free agent in the freaking Super Bowl. So stop telling me about these particular guys and what you believe them to be when you're not even watching the film. There's no way in the world. Now, if they want to put him there because you're looking at this does happen. You draft a guy, La'el Collins. You draft La'el, he was an undrafted free agent. You put him at guard because you already had a guy at right tackle that you were paying. We get it. But then when that guy phased out, La'el was the right tackle, the starting right tackle, dominating that position for the next 3 to 4 years because that's who he is. That's his natural position. So if we're talking about it from that standpoint, cool, I can rock with you on that. But if you're talking about this guy being a guard because he doesn't possess the athletic ability to be a tackle in the NFL, sir, you are sadly mistaken, and you need to go have several seats. And most of them need to be away from me before I snap.
Hey, by the way, great point on La'el Collins. Because now he had to issue off the field, right? And that hurt him in draft. But you know what? 6'4.5", 33 1/4 inch arms, right? Yep. I mean, 187, 10-yard split. You know, but but that guy, I saw him in high school. I went to his high school because he played in the Under Armour game, and he was a tackle all the way. Now, and that's what he was one of the guys I was talking about, Tony. When he got to LSU, they were loaded on the offensive line. They played him at guard his first year. Then he kicked out. He's all SEC tackle. Same thing happened in the NFL. And maybe by the measurables for some people, he wasn't that guy, but by the player, he was 100% a tackle.
Jerry paid this man a 6-figure signing bonus. as an undrafted free agent.
Yeah.
What because and I will say this, as much as we clown the Cowboys and everything like that, when it comes to offensive linemen, they haven't missed. So I'm just saying, like, there's a certain thing that I think we got to get back to when it comes to evaluating players, and stop just trying to be the person that can throw the thing out there for social media clicks and likes and Twitter clicks and likes and whatever else social media platform you use it so that you can get your name up, and start actually doing the work and evaluating these kids, man. Like these guys are phenomenal players, and I think that you owe it to them to actually sit down and watch them and see exactly how they perform on the field, not predicated off of some computer system that ain't got nothing to do with football.
I think it's hard for somebody to watch 300 players and decide where, what you're going to watch every play of 300 players, college careers. It doesn't happen.
No,
they do it individually and independently. Everybody will take a league or an area, but they can't do it all. It's impossible. Same thing happens in college football recruiting. Most of the rankings are done by people that watch the highlights. They don't go out to school. Most of them.
Yeah. No, and I'm with you there, Bobby. What I'm saying is that if that's the approach that you're going to take, then at least in the watching of the highlights, let's be accurate with what we're seeing, right? Because, for instance, the kid that we're watching now from IMG, right? I've only been able to watch his highlight tape. Now, I've studied it multiple times, but within the watching of that highlight tape, I'm able to notice, oh, okay, this guy has great knee flexibility. Oh, okay, he struggles a little bit here on the down blocks. Okay, this guy gets edged a little. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, whatever you're watching, give it that much attention to what you're actually watching. I get, like, we can't watch all of these players. I'm not saying that. Nobody in the world, it's only 24 hours in the day, right? I understand that. All I'm saying is that the feedback that you're giving, let it be your feedback, the individual that's actually watching the tape, and not be a regurgitation of what everybody else is saying about the player. That's the part that I have a problem with. Not them watching the entire breakdown of games. You never get that done. I'm saying exactly what you're watching. Give me your personal opinion about this individual, not what so-and-so said from 247 Sports or whatever else platforms are out here.
Fair enough. All right, that's Tony Hills. Tony, thank you so much for joining us on
Tony,
No energy today whatsoever, Tony.
Tony, I got a question. So I got a question about your energy. So I saw you had coffee, right?
Oh, yeah.
You drink a little coffee. I mean, do you keep this same energy all day? Like, okay, so your son, who's a hooper, going to be a good hooper. I'm sure you're getting into AAU, or you bringing that same energy to every AAU practice. Is your boy like, hey, Dad, calm down back there a little bit?
Listen, yes, 1,000% yes. My son, one time, he wasn't playing the game to the level that I know he can play it. And I forgot that I was in like a public space. And I literally stood up and was like, hey, bro, if you're going to waste my time, I got business meetings I can be at. Right. And like me and my son, we have this type of relationship, right? Like he'll go back with me, I'll go back with him. So but I know on the outside looking in, it was like, oh, that's just bad parenting. I can see him now. That's just bad parenting. Somebody probably did one of these numbers. Right. But at the end of the day, when he went off and scored 25 points in that game and stopped turning the ball over, right? That was what I was trying to get out of him. But to answer your question, I say that to say this. Bobby and Jerry and Blake, I haven't forgot about you, smooth voice criminal.
Appreciate you.
Everything that we do in life, man, is predicated between our two ears. It's about the mindset. So if you say you're having a good day or a bad day, that's because you've chosen to take that thought process into whatever it is that you're saying what day it is. I choose to move in joy, pun intended, Jerry. I choose to move in positivity. Right? I choose to move in light, and I choose to move in love. I make those decisions. It's not to say that I don't have bad days, but like I just choose to have positive energy, because when I'm looking outside of myself and I'm looking in the world, it's so much negativity, man, that's out there. Like I got so much positive energy. My hoodie can't even stay on my head, man. You understand? So I want to put this into the atmosphere. I want to put this on this platform. I love everybody here. I want people to move in positivity. And at the end of the day, adversity is your cousin, and obstacles are your friend. They're there to grow you. right? You guys know about the bamboo tree, right? It grows in the darkness for 5 years, but then when it comes to the light, man, it's the fastest growing tree in the world, right? So you got to be molded in that darkness sometimes and go through those things so you can figure out who you are inside, so that you can prune off some things that you don't like, that aren't moving you in the space that you want to move to in life. And then once you do that, boom, elevate and give that energy to other people. So that's why I love being on this platform. You guys give me the ability to do that. And I'm so appreciative of everybody that watches us.
And by the way, that was just what Cedric Baxter and Jarrett Gibson, that was an in-home from Tashard Choice in past years right there. That's what that was.
Tony,
I commit. I'm in.
Thank you so much, Tony. We appreciate you, buddy. We'll see you next week, man. Take care of yourself. All right, have a good one, man. Tony Hill's always a fan favorite, just tremendous guy with a great outlook on so many things. We appreciate him breaking down the film. If you're just now joining us, he broke down a couple of recruits as well earlier today, too. Blake and Jerry, we need to get to a couple of ad reads. We're late this morning with these. Let's do it. Jerry, start with Gooder.
I've got my Gooders on. Why wouldn't I? Texas women ranked #1 in the country. Softball ranked #1 in the country. We'll see who else. I know who's not ranked #1 anymore. It's A&M. Why Gooders? Stylish Sunnies starting only $25 a pair. One no slip, no bounce. You know that. 1-year warranty. I got to read it. 30-day free returns. I got to put it on the box, but you don't need it with Gooder. Lightweight and comfortable. They're 100% polarized. Vibrant colors to sleek styles. Tony Hill, sleek style, right? He needs some. We got to give him those Texas Gooders. There's a pair of Gooders for every personality out there in the world, designed for both everyday wear and active individuals that love to run, hike, bike, and more. You know where you wear your Gooder Sunnies? Cycling, if you do that. Playing tennis with the Burtons, going to the beach on a hike, playing pickleball with the Burtons, on a run at the baseball diamond with Blake while Colt super chats. All that. These Gooders can go anywhere because they're so affordable. You don't have to worry about losing or breaking them. You can have a pair for every occasion. If you need a new pair of Sunnies, Gooder is giving On Texas football listeners free shipping. You can go to gooder.com/OnTexas and use code OnTexas, all caps, for free shipping. I got to read it. They offer a 30-day money-back guarantee. Throw that in the trash and 100% satisfaction. You can tell by my read. I have that with Gooder.
Thank you, Jerry. I'm also going to let everyone know about Public Rec because nobody's got time for stiff, uncomfortable clothes anymore. It's just about springtime here in Texas, and you deserve to be comfortable in whatever you're wearing, no matter what you're doing. That's where Public Rec's going to come in. Their pants are a game changer. They're designed to be as comfy as your favorite sweats, but a lot more stylish. We're talking super soft fabric, no stiff seams, and enough stretch to keep up with whatever your day may throw at you. But Public Rec isn't just about pants. They have so many great style options, whether you're working all day in the office, running errands, maybe just going out and grabbing a drink or getting a bite to eat. Who doesn't want to look sharp without sacrificing comfort? They have a huge selection of high-quality, everyday premium styles. You can revamp your entire wardrobe with the perfect fitting polos, shorts, hoodies. Those are my favorite. And then, of course, the pants as well. So treat yourself right because comfort is always in season. Upgrade to Public Rec and feel the difference. For a limited amount of time, you can get 20% off at Public Rec by using code ONTexas at checkout. Just head to publicrec.com, use promo code ONTexas, and you're all set. And when they ask how you found them, be sure to mention our show. We really appreciate it. It would help us out. Find your perfect fit. Never compromise on comfort again. That's Public Rec, where comfort rules.
There you
All right, we
go.
got more to talk about. What you got, Bobby? Go ahead.
I said, there you go. You did it.
You want to talk about a bad day with glasses, man. Texas chick won. Lost a pair of Oakley and Ray-Bans in the same weekend. Wow. That's a $500
that was a paycheck back in the day, Jerry.
$500 weekend.
That is a bad day.
Now you can restock with Gooder, Texas chick.
There you go.
You'll be all set. All right, let's take the super chat here from Maddie M. Thank you, Maddie. Good morning, guys, and thanks for the great content. I'm sure I'm not alone in saying thank goodness that OTF doesn't have an off season. 178 days until the Horns versus the Buckeyes. Hook 'em.
I'm ready for it, man. 20 days until Texas gets back on the practice field, too. The March 25th will be the first day of spring ball. So we're looking forward to 178 days. August 30th, Texas goes to Columbus. But March 25th, Texas will be starting spring practice. Pro Day the 26th as well. We got a lot of stuff going on. We will be there for it. Recruiting weekends are coming up. I believe it's the 29th is the first big one where unofficial visits of this month will take place. So we've got a lot of different things going on. I get a sneaky suspicion that the women's basketball team may make a deep run in March. I also get a sneaky suspicion we might have a coaching search in men's basketball if Texas doesn't squeak something out here with a last ditch effort to make the NCAA tournament.
And we all forgot one thing. It's probably about 40 days till the next NIL deal drop for the Mannings. So,
wow. I mean, what, Uber, Waymo, Red Bull? He's not going small. Those are Uber. Those are big brands.
Hey, let me tell you something. I was predicting 8 to 10 million a year in NIL for him. I think I undercut that. I think it's going above it. Man, and it all depended on how much the Mannings wanted to put on him, but it feels like it's going past 10 mil this year to me.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me. Now we have another super chat here from Jack. Jack says, it's never a great day to be an Ag or an OU Goober Sooner. Hey, I got to say something real quick. So last night, the night before last, our power went out. My wife went to A&M. And so the power goes out. She's like, I'm going to go outside. Bad storms are coming through. Just make sure that stuff's not all over the yard. And this was at like 4 a.m. My phone rings a couple minutes later, and it's her. And she says, you need to let me in. I said, why can't you just walk in? Swear to God. She goes, well, the electricity's out. The door's not going to work.
You're in trouble. You're in so much trouble right now.
Swear to God. I mean, we have a battery powered, like, one of the where you put in the 4-digit code, you can get in. Yeah. Electricity's out and door ain't going to work.
You're in so much trouble right now.
And then I got one other one for you, and this is true as well. When I was in high school, I dated this girl that eventually went to A&M as well. Same thing, storms, electricity goes out. I said, we can go to my house or whatever. She goes, well, how are we going to get there? The car won't start if the electricity's out.
No.
Two very true stories. I swear to God. And both of them, A&M.
Nah.
So, there you go.
I thought when the electricity went out, your wife was just like, "Is it A&M's November football season already?" Lights went out. Is it November?
It's the end of the roller coaster.
Did I miss a few months?
Oh man! All right. Well, hey, one thing we need to talk about that we haven't got to yet. Fox Sports came out with the draft. Jerry, you kind of teased it earlier, but they have 4 Longhorns in the first round, guys. I'm going to quickly bring these up here because I couldn't find a good graphic for it. They have Kelvin Banks going 10 to Chicago. We've seen that quite a bit through all these mock drafts that we've talked about over the last few weeks. Followed by the Vikings taking Jahdae Barron at 24. And then they have Buffalo taking Matthew Golden. But the 4th one, the Eagles taking Alfred Collins.
Wow.
Just what they need is more interior defensive line help. My goodness.
Hey, keep doing what's working.
Yeah.
Keep going. I mean, look, I would love it for Alfred. I mean, it's taken him longer than it should have to become the guy talked about in that regard. That should have been him midway through his college career. But these guys are on their own. They're running their own race, and they get serious about how good they can be at different times. That's just part of it. But that would be if Texas got 4 first-rounders out of this draft in some way, whether it's Alfred or somebody else, it would be amazing. It would be amazing for the program. I'll say that.
Crazy.
Hey, by the way, somebody said you're a dead man walking now, Blake. I didn't. Hey, look, I never thought somebody would get fired before RT. It looks like.
I like what Jenny says. You should have been muted. It'll be all right. She's teaching. She's not watching. All right, it's 4:20 somewhere with the
Super. Though.
No, he better be paying attention in class. Says Jerry, what Longhorns have the most critical spring/fall to prove themselves?
Ooh.
This is interesting. I don't want to tease a video that we're going to do for later today, so I'm going to leave one alone. Bobby, I hate to be that tease, but I think we got a good one coming later.
I will say this. I mean, Jordan Washington,
Kobe Black,
and Spencer Shannon are at tight end. No doubt have to figure it out. The corner opposite Malik Muhammad or Manny Muhammad, whether that's Santana Wilson, Warren Roberson, Kobe Black, who we think is the guy right now. Those are probably the two spots that have the most to prove. Because I think that at receiver, you've got Wingo and Moore. I would say, you could say that third receiver, whoever that is, but they may still go in the portal for that player. So you can't put that on the most. I would say tight end and corner. I think those are the two. So that's pretty apparent to me. You could look at other spots, but maybe the two interior defensive tackles. We'll see. I feel good about those two positions being the ones to watch. I also want to mention this. We have Trey Wisner is one to watch this spring, and it's not that he has anything to prove. It's not so much that he needs to prove that he's 1,000-yard back. He's done that. I want to see what his development looks like this spring and into next year. Because he is a natural running back. He really, really is an absolutely natural running back. The question I have for him is, how much stronger can he get? How much more weight can he put on his frame while not losing the quickness and the darting ability that makes him a really good runner, right? And so as you think about development at the University of Texas, what's Trey Wisner look like 365 days from now? Is he still the very lean, angular running back, or is he starting to stack on smarter weight?
Yeah. So it's a short choice before the Arizona State game. CJ had that video, that some of that media availability with Choice. Choice had said he was 202 going into that Arizona State game or into the playoffs, and thought he'd be at 212, 213, 214 this year. If he is, and Choice pretty much said, if he is that, and he didn't even talk about retaining everything, but to Bobby's point, if you retain everything you have with the extra 10 to 12 pounds, he pretty much said that guy's going to go off to the NFL. Is what he was pretty much getting at that without coming out and saying those words.
Yeah, he's a really good running back. He has to be able to run inside better to make it happen for him. And so I know he doesn't have the most to prove to answer that question. I still think that's tight end and cornerback, but he's somebody that just if his body can change over time, like Barron Sorrell's did every single time I saw him, every semester, he looked a little bit better, a little bit.
Yeah.
If Trey Wisner can do that same type of thing, By
the way, did y'all see that Dabo came out and said, "Oh no, having a spring game, guys are going to get recruited to the portal regardless. The spring game doesn't matter." I just, because I just wanted to respond to Dabo. Well, you finally started using the portal, so you still don't get it, do you? You had to let it slip almost out of your fingers, by the way, before you took a player from the portal. And so you're probably wrong on this too, but you'll come around in a couple of years.
He's got Cade Klubnik one more year.
And 3 NFL receivers for him to throw it to.
Yeah, let's see. He's got a chance this year. He's got a chance. He's got to get a better defense, though, man. That defense didn't look coordinated. I'll put it that way.
Jacob Watley with the super chat says, "Good morning, OTF. Where do we see our boy Quinn going in the draft? Look on."
I'm convinced it's going to be third round and up. I know some people are saying, oh, well, he might make it into the second round. But in talking with Lance Erline and Steve Palazzolo, like we did yesterday, they remark about, look, after the first round, teams will pick who they think might be starters year one in the first round. I don't think anybody thinks Quinn's going to be a starter in year one. He's one of the youngest quarterbacks, if not the youngest quarterback in the draft, by the way, because he came out of high school a year early. Don't forget that. So there's that aspect of it. They think that he'll go anywhere from third to fifth. And we had Palazzolo on yesterday. He said this, Jerry, 5 or 6 guys went in the first round, quarterbacks last year, whatever the number was.
Yeah.
The next quarterback was Spencer Rattler. He didn't go to the 5th round. So there was no quarterback taken 2nd through 4th round. So it's almost like the NFL has created this chasm where, okay, we draft you in the first if we think you might be a day one starter or start in year one, or we're going to wait and make sure we get our other needs felt, and then we can pick up a developmental quarterback along the way later in it. So I think I'd say third round and up still for Quinn, despite looking really good at the NFL Combine.
And he'll look good at UT Pro Day on the 26th, assuming he throws there. He'll look really good in that setting too. So I think everything on field right now is going to help him. The question is, where's that balance going to be from the season to these workouts from an NFL perspective? And that's the unanswerable question right now. I've always said this, though. I think the best scenario, or I haven't always said that, I've been saying this since we got into this draft stuff, for Quinn would be go somewhere you can sit. Get your body 100% healthy. Let yourself get 100% healthy. He hadn't been 100% healthy since dating back to his sophomore year in high school. I mean, he probably was the redshirt year at Ohio State just because he was scout team. It's the only year he didn't really play football. He just practiced. But go get 100% healthy and keep building your body up and just sit and learn. I mean, to me, that is the best case scenario for Quinn as far as the NFL. I think being thrown to the Wolves in year one would be that might be tougher for him. I think he needs to build his body. It'd be nice for him to have time to develop in the NFL for a year, really know what it's like to be fully healthy for an extended period of time while you build your body. He just hadn't had that.
All right, before we get to our last few questions of the day, Bobby, I'm going to let you tell everyone about Adam Lowy and the ticket giveaway, too.
Yeah, absolutely. If you've been injured in a car wreck, truck wreck, automobile accident of any kind, and you want a free, no strings attached consultation to see if you might be due compensation, please give Adam and his group a shout. You can reach him at loweylawfirm.com. Thank you, Adam, for your sponsorship of Wednesday's Coffee and Football each and every week. We appreciate you. Adam has all season long been giving away tickets to basketball games, both men's and women's. He's got a pair to give away today for the OU game that will be on Saturday night at 7:00. Okay, here is the ticket giveaway. The first person that gets it right gets the tickets. Email your answers to ontexasfootball@gmail.com. Given that this is a basketball game, it's going to be a basketball question. Okay, and the first person that gets it right gets the tickets, and then I receive them at ontexasfootball@gmail.com. All right, here we go. Who is the all-time leading men's basketball scorer at the University of Texas? He's currently an assistant coach in the Big 12. Who is the all-time leading basketball scorer at the University of Texas? There you go. Answer that, get it in, and we'll set you up, or Adam will set you up with a pair of tickets to this weekend's Texas-Oklahoma regular season finale.
Okay, well, as I said, we got time for a few more questions here.
Jerry, do you know the answer? I got to ask Jerry. Did you know the answer?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was a pretty easy one.
Okay.
And it's not Javon Felix for anybody in the chat. All right, keep going.
All right, let's take this question here from Ivory Martin. Is Cam Williams still considered a first-round pick?
I think he's on that border for some teams. I think the workouts leading up to the draft are going to be big for him where his knee's at. But look, he's like Alfred Collins right now, Bobby. Would it shock you if he went 30 to 32? Probably not. Would it shock you if he went early to mid-second round? Probably not. I think he's in that boat right now. I think he's got since he didn't. I think his individual workouts with teams are going to be pretty big here second half of March.
It all depends whether or not they think he can play tackle and how quickly. I think I would be. He's not considered a first-round pick right now, Ivory. That to Jerry's point, it would be surprising if he were a first-round pick, but not overwhelmed, not some major shock. I think he's more second, third round. You guys, we got to remember. I mean, Tavondre Sweat is a bonus-sized guy, right? In the NFL, 340 pounds. Won the Outland last year, I think it was. He went in the second round. There's no shame in going to the second round. I think he'll go top 50, top 60. It would be my guess. So second round at the latest, Ivory. And then within that group, in that second 20 or 30, I think beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Yeah. Whoever needs a tackle, whoever thinks he might be a guy that can help him long term, and he might be the guy that starts at guard and ends up at tackle long term. I mean, I think that's possible too for him.
And I looked in the NFL mock draft database, search for Cam Williams. There are a few that have him in the first round, but most of those going either to the Rams or the Chiefs late in the first round. So, but not, like I said, just a handful of those that have him.
Chiefs need offensive linemen badly. If the Super Bowl didn't prove that, I don't know what would.
And Stuart wants to know, with Texas going after KJ Edwards, is this a sign that we are officially out on Javian Osborne?
Well, Texas has always been recruiting KJ Edwards. So I just want to make that be known that we've mentioned when Deshard Choice was here before he left, we mentioned 4 running backs with regularity. It was Javian Osborne, Xavier Crowell, Amari Latimer, and KJ Edwards. And we wondered, would a 5th be added to that? Then Choice went down to see Derek Cooper, who I believe is the 5-star running back out of Chaminade Madonna in Hollywood, Florida there. So that added another name to the mix. So Texas has always been they've always been recruiting KJ Edwards. He's been on campus 4 or 5 times. So where's Texas at with Osborne? We'll see on that one. We'll see long-term on that one. Based on a conversation with that circle, I don't know if that's going to end up being a marriage. I'll say that, but things can change. But I was told that yesterday that Texas is, I wondered how much if there'd be any new offers at running back, and I still think that's possible. But Texas, Chad Scott is talking to Amari Latimer. They are planning to bring him in for an OV. I don't think it's been set here. It hasn't been publicized yet. So I think you're looking at KJ Edwards, Xavier Crowell, who's coming in March, and then again June 6th. But that one is a real recruiting bloodbath at running back in the Southeast region. Georgia, Texas, Auburn, Bama. Derek Cooper, I was told Sunday, still wants to come visit Texas this spring. Then we'll see what happens there. And then Amari Latimer and KJ Edwards. So I think those 4 names right now, and I'm leaving kind of Javian Osborne on the peripheral to see what happens there. But I don't. It wouldn't shock me if Chad Scott didn't bring another offer to the table at some point.
He was recruiting a different bunch of running backs at West Virginia.
Yeah,
and they recruit more up and down the Atlantic coast. And
to that point, Bobby, Chad Scott offering Derek Cooper at Chaminade Madonna was kind of a waste of his time at West Virginia. Now at Texas, it's real. So who else can he get in on potentially in that Southeast region? That's why I'm not ruling out that somebody else gets offered at running back. I'll say that. We'll see what happens in the next few weeks.
All right, and we'll close with this one, guys. Champ Bailey 3. What was y'all's favorite play or moment of the 2024 season?
Hard to beat 4th and 13.
Yeah.
I think, man, maybe just watching Trey Wisner run it down A&M's throat.
I was going to say taking a knee at the end of the A&M game.
Yeah, 36 for 183 was that, or 186?
33 for 186. Yep.
Yeah, that may have been. I mean, they just Texas enforced its will on A&M, and I think maybe that's my favorite moment. Even though the play, I think, has to be 4th and 13. Maybe the goal line stop against A&M.
Yeah,
Ethan Burke swallowing up Amari Daniels.
Brandon Huey had a good one. Bolden against Oklahoma. That was a huge play for Texas.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They wouldn't win the game, but that was an unbelievable culture play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always remember that. I will always remember that one. Trying to think if there's other. Was there a seminal play against Michigan? Maybe the touchdown pass.
I thought it was if that game would have been when Quinn moved in the pocket and threw at the helm in the back of the end zone.
Yeah, that was a pretty play.
Matthew Golden at the end of the half on a little roll.
Brandon Bowersox with the double reverse, kind of the fake reverse, and then the reverse to Isaiah Bond against either Florida or Kentucky. I can't remember which one.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for today's episode of Coffee and Football presented by Adam Lowy and the Lowy Law Firm. I want to thank Adam, along with Gooder and Public Rec for sponsoring today's show. Of course, thank you all for tuning in. The great questions, the super chats. Be sure to check in later today because, Bobby, what do you have?
We've got the state of the program coming up next. Then Jerry and I are going to break down the offensive line, I think, a little bit for folks. And tonight we have the Longhorn live stream. Jerry wants to talk offensive line. We're going to do it. And as well, make sure you check in on us at ontexasfootball.com. CJ, Jeff Howe, Blake, and Jerry all talking about different aspects of the Longhorn program, as well as myself. You can get a 1-year subscription to ontexasfootball.com by using the promo code OTFOG.
I have the recruiting board 2026 1.0. I published on ontexasfootball.com right before the show. Obviously, we can't go over that all here on video or even a recruiting breakdown video. There's too many names. But recruiting board 1.0 for 2026 is published on ontexasfootball.com. And there's about 75, 80 names on that thing right now.
There you go. And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, ring the bell so you're notified anytime we go live, post content, whatever it may be. And between that and ontexasfootball.com, we got you covered around the clock. We'll be back same time, same place tomorrow. So for Bobby Burton and Jerry Hamilton, I'm Blake Monroe, and